Hello everyone, welcome to the next review. First of all, apologies for the rain in the background if you can hear it. Of course it's raining in November. Might give the videos an ambience. With that out of the way, this is the next review, How to Be Animal by Melanie Challenger. Now of course I've read a decent amount about this subject already, and this is just happens to be the latest book that I've read on the subject. How to Be Animal offers a radical take on what it means to be human, and argues that at the heart of our psychology is a profound struggle with being animal. Tracing the history of this thinking through to its far-reaching effects on our lives and drawing on a range of disciplines, Challenger proposes that being animal is a process, beautiful and unpredictable, and that we have a chance to tell ourselves a new story, to realise that if we matter, so does everything else. I picked this book up in particular because Melanie Challenger is in that circle of thinkers that I've become increasingly aware of. For the ecological citizen. Indeed, Aileen Christ, who is another thinker that I've discussed on the channel before, briefly in my identity politics video, she provides a blurb for this book. There's nothing I can really say about this subject that I haven't already said before, but what I'm going to do is suggest that this book is an excellent introduction into the philosophy and science behind our animal natures, why we should respect that we are animals, and why striving against our animality can lead us astray. An excellent introduction in the sense that it takes from a variety of disciplines and fields. It's highly interdisciplinary. Indeed, Richard Powers on the very front cover says, a remarkable combination of biology, genetics, zoology, evolutionary psychology and philosophy. Now, what I particularly liked about this book is that it doesn't, in all those different fields, they don't take precedence. That's what I love about it. There's a certain type of scientific thinking that kind of tends to denigrate humanity. It's that reductionist scientific mindset takes away from the beauty of being an animal, a human, in the world, and kind of distilling that down to different layers till we get to the first principles, which kind of takes away from our experiences, especially enchanting experiences. And so this book, although it's quite dense at times in terms of evolutionary psychology, neurobiology and things like this, and that never really takes precedence, and that's what I like about it. It's a book called How to Be Animal, and of course animals, we're not machines, and that's a key point of this book. We're not machines. We feel, we respond to touch, warmth, music, things like this. It's all about the sensuous. Again, what I find fascinating is that a certain group of thinkers in this field of study of the animal, people like Patrick Curry, Aileen Christ, Hayden Washington, Melanie Challenger, people like this, they all emphasize the sensuous and relational qualities of being an animal. For me, this book was enjoyable to read. I do have some issues with it, which I'll get onto later on, but it's a very nuanced book. It doesn't fall into what we could call green misanthropy. It doesn't denigrate the human in favour of animals, to make that dichotomy between humans and animals. It doesn't denigrate the human animal in favour of other animals. But it also, of course, isn't suggesting in any way that humans are special. It's a book that kind of takes the middle ground. This book is a defence of what it means to be animal. It doesn't involve belittling us or losing sight of the obvious differences that mark us out, nor does it result in a confused preference for what might be thought of as natural. Rather, this is an argument for a deeper understanding of how we think about life. Our animal origin is the story of our place in the world. It's the basis of how we give meaning to our existence. This is an impossible task without first accepting that humans are animals. This should be straightforward, yet it isn't. In truth, we live inside a paradox. It's blindingly obvious that we're animals, and yet some part of us doesn't believe it. It's important to try and make sense of this. And then, once we accept that we're animals, to think about what flows from that. So there's a lot to say here in a book like this. It's very broad, again, taking from evolutionary psychology, literature, art, music, ethics. It's rather broad, which is great, because I don't think a book like this should be hyper focused. It should balance the science and humanities. It should be pluralistic in its approach. One thing I would say that I found troubling is that Melanie appears to kind of exaggerate the claims of humanism. Humanism has itself been distorted various times throughout history, of course. We could say that the humanism of Descartes is different from the humanism of Montaigne. Descartes held the belief in human dominion, of course, and probing nature to further control it and dominate it. Whereas Montaigne's kind of skeptical humanism was more about ethics and valuing the other and whatnot. Anyway, she holds the belief that humanism today is, as she says, the largest alternative to religious dominion. I found that quite troubling, because in the past I held myself to be a secular humanist, and I knew I had grown up as a secular humanist. I had always been inspired by people like Alice Roberts and when I was younger, Stephen Fry and Hitchens and Dawkins and all these common figures, the popular figures in terms of atheism and whatnot. But I had never once thought I'm a humanist, so I must denigrate other animals. I'm not entirely sure where she believes that humanists have the assumption. I'm quoting this. The humanist assumption is that we can use other animals as we wish. You can find ample evidence just on a quick Google search that humanism is not the denigration of other animals for the benefit of humans. Just because it's called humanism doesn't necessarily mean that that we should neglect relationships with other animals. You could argue, and I think Melanie does argue this in the book, that humanism does still tend to see humans as the rational animal, and in some sense we are superior in that sense that we have reason and whatnot. But I can guarantee you that most modern humanists would not think that we are superior to other animals on the basis of that. What frustrates me a little bit is that throughout the book she seems to equate humanists with kind of the hyper distorted, extremely humanocentric, anthropocentric views of the tech billionaires like Ray Kurzweil and Elon Musk and people like this, the kind of Promethean figures. Humanism can be distorted, but the people that I used to look up to when I was younger, these people did not denigrate animals. These are not the transhumanists. These are not the people that want to dominate us through technology. And yet she seems to equate the two. Something that I found also troubling is that Melanie seems to have a kind of overt suspicion of the outward-looking mindset. Now, of course, I wrote a thesis on earth-centered sacrality. I hold the belief that we should be looking to the earth first and foremost. That should be obvious. But she seems to equate the human desire to explore the cosmos with the kind of twisted and distorted anthropocentric view, obsessed with immortality and whatnot, this kind of death and life that Tolkien talked about. I think that's a kind of a false dichotomy. I think that you can do both, and I honestly view the exploring the cosmos and continuing Earth's story to be paramount. And saying that, I wouldn't view myself as being afraid of death and denying that I'm an animal. I think it's simply paramount that we continue Earth's story. And again, Melanie seems to equate these two in kind of unhelpful ways, these two camps in unhelpful ways. I think you can do both. Certain things that she says throughout the book points toward the view of looking only at the Earth. We might as well just turn the James Webb telescope away, turn all telescopes away. We might as well just destroy everything that we might as well disregard the cosmos, even though she says a particular part of the book that we are part of the cosmos. Surely if we're part of the cosmos, we should want to explore it and continue this story of life, not just human life, but other life as well. Particularly if there's an extinction event. Let's say there's a gamma ray burst that's going to destroy the Earth. It's like saying, let's not do anything at all. Let's just burn the book of the Earth, let's say, instead of actually going out into other worlds, if that is possible. So this is the type of book that I could discuss for a very long time, and I'm trying to make my review shorter, so I will just read the very end of the book, just to give you an idea of the type of language employed here, which kind of saves the book for me from just being another dry scientific book on the fact that humans are animals. Again, it's a very broad and general book, which you can take a lot from it. For now, humans are earth creatures, still born of flesh, conscious, emotional and mortal. We have laptops, smartphones, here or there a titanium heart valve, a prosthetic limb or exoskeleton, where machine and nerves fuse. We have high rises, rockets and space stations, but still we remain animals. We are the self-same star stuff we have always been. As animals, we harbour viruses. We fart out the digestive gases from our meals, our plump, bloody hearts from every feeling we have. As we grow, we seek a mate. Staring into their eyes, our bodies increase the blood flow into the nucleus accumbens region of our brains, the same region that comes to life when mothers look at their babies. When we sniff the heads of our newborn children, we change the hormones in our bodies, and love breaks out like a rash. When we stroke their bodies, we grow kindness in them. When a friend is in need, we make them laugh and endorphins rush through us as hope. The subjective consciousness that slowly develops through childhood and young adulthood and passes away again in old age is only a stage in the unfolding of a human life. If our bodies count, if they possess their own intelligence, if they are the theatre through which our sense of self occasionally flickers like a faulty connection in the wiring, then dramas of beauty and meaning may continue even in the darkness. This is a radical possibility. If much of the real art is in the body, and not the knowledge of the body, then while moral agency may be limited, moral subjects may be everywhere. We can imagine not a progressive scale leading to the one thing of value, the human form of consciousness and its capacity to deliver meaning, but a spectacle of richness before us all the while. How to Be Animal by Melanie Challenger. Thanks for watching, everyone.